sir. You saw what Steve Bannon said about your boy.
No, Steve Bannon need to take his shitty skin and go back into a jail cell and shut the fuck up.
Steve Bannon,
nobody give a fuck about what Steve Bannon says.
Steve Bannon said you fired thousands of federal staff. You're a parasitic illegal immigrant.
Where's Steve Bannon from, yo?
Who have a show together, and you know what? I think they have a pretty good dynamic because I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you know, comedians, everybody's talking about politics these days. Politics, I feel like, have become almost a sitcom sometimes, right? So they're discussing DOGE. It does get a little. I don't know if it's heated, but it does get a little heated with them. Sometimes it just does. And that's how it is when you're discussing politics. So we're going to go ahead and get into what they have to say about DOGE, Elon Musk, and, you know, everything else that's going on over there. Y'all already know how I feel about it.
Yo, look at Steve Bannon's skin. Steve Bannon's skin look like Bible paper.
Now, Andrew has a vile hatred of Steve Bannon, and I don't know really why. I mean, like, I'm not the biggest Steve Bannon fan, but, like, he really can't take Steve Bannon.
I've never seen someone with shittier skin and that much money. You can put fucking lotion on your skin and you will be fine, Steve Bannon.
I bet if you walked in your building and saw that motherfucker sitting in the lobby, you'd be like, oh, shit.
I would, because I don't have a lobby. I'd be like, this motherfucker made a lobby? How the fuck he make a lobby? Nah, this Marvel villain looking motherfucker, you don't need. I don't like the fact that we're even listening to him talk anymore, but his hair looks great for his age.
If I was Steve Bannon, I would understand why he doesn't like somebody like Elon Musk, because if you work so hard to position a party as the party of the working class, you can't.
You think that's what he worked hard doing?
Steve Bannon?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what he worked. I mean, that's what he worked hard to do. He does talk about like right-wing populism and stuff like that. So that is what he worked hard to do. I mean, nobody can deny that. You don't have to like him to know that that's what he worked hard to do.
Well, there's a lot of things Steve Bannon did, but
he's just mad he's not in the White House anymore. He's not a shot caller. He's just mad that he's not someone that people pay attention to. So he's just trying to rile shit up again. He just wants attention.
You think so?
Yeah. Come on,
man. So what about Tulsi? What about Cash Patel? What about Pete Hegseth? What about Rubio? They said we ignoring fucking Elon's emails. Hey. Like, yo, y'all don't answer to him. Who the fuck is he?
Unless...
Nah, yo, we don't answer to him. Well, he's an elected official.
Well, what does it matter if you're an elected official or not?
Come on. Yes, it does.
Cash Patel's not an elected official.
But he's the head of the FBI.
Yeah, but he's not elected.
But he got sworn in by the Senate. Elon did not.
So you're saying that, and again, I could be wrong about this, but you're saying that if the president hires anybody to look into anything, they're not allowed to do it unless the Senate swears them in?
Yes, if you're going to be over how the federal government spends people's money.
But the amount of people that spend our money that are part of the federal government that we have not sworn in is what's caused all this bloat and bureaucratic bullshit.
So then we add more with Elon. So, you know, I have to almost agree with Charlamagne. It's like you could agree with both of them, right? Because on one hand, it's like, well, even when they're sworn in, they still become corrupt somehow, right? But at the same time, it's like, you know, if this system was supposed to work the way that it's supposed to work, you technically, should be like sworn in, even to go do government oversight. As in, you know, we technically elect these officials to represent us, since we can't go make these votes. You know, however many hundreds of millions of Americans can't just show up to the Capitol and say, I want this and I want that. So technically, you're supposed to vote in your representative to represent you and say, okay, this is what I want, right? So technically, it would be that, you know, we found somebody to do some oversight, but let's get some background on this person and see if the American people want that person to do it. So I get that. That's technically how it should be. But everything is just so chaotic, or not maybe chaotic, but just done in any old kind of way. Nobody's following the rules. And then when they get in, they become corrupt. So
again, I don't even know what they're slashing, but there are all these programs that they have said have gotten a lot of bloat. In other words, that there's a lot more people have hired. They've hired for these certain like interest projects, and these interest projects have been potentially completed, and those people haven't moved on to work on anything else. They're just still there getting paid by our money. We didn't hire them. The Senate didn't hire them. Somebody at that company hired them. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is like,
I don't know how that works. I really don't.
I think it works just like
when
any
you're
committee.
USDA, FDA, you're in charge of nuclear weapons. I don't know how that works.
The Senate can't come in and approve every single person that's hired on every single committee. Maybe they could. Maybe it should be done where like the Senate approves like the person that's the head of the committee or something. Maybe that's the pushback. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you have nothing to hide and there is no issue, let's look at the books.
No, sure, but it has to be.
Why is that a big,
you can't
why is that a
have
big deal?
unchecked, unauthorized power from somebody who's not an elected official.
How about this?
Everything you're saying happened in the 90s. Bill Clinton did it.
So how about this?
And Bill Clinton didn't need congressional approval to put this organization together.
How about this? We let the DOGE or whatever look into all the excess. We have them with transparency share the excess. Upon sharing the excess, we have a congressional committee of elected officials come in and act on the excess.
So do it the right way.
Would that be the right way?
Yes, the way. That's exactly what
I
Bill
don't know what
Clinton
the
did.
constitutional way is.
When Bill Clinton created the National Partnership for Reinventing Government, that's exactly what they did. And it's like this, right? If I wanted to know more about comedy, like say comedy clubs in New York City, who should you talk to? If you want to know how to fix comedy clubs in New York City, make comedy clubs the best, who should you talk to?
Comedy club owners.
And who else?
Comedians?
Yes. That's what Clinton did. He went to go talk to federal workers and people who were in charge of these organizations to see where they could cut waste. Once they figured it all out, then they went to Congress with it. That is the constitutional way to do it.
I'm all about.
So I'm about that too. Like it's okay to hire somebody outside, maybe that's still American, to come in and look at what's going on and audit things and be transparent about stuff and, you know, what's going on, you know, with this, that, and the other, and answering to the American people. Like, I'm totally fine with that, right? But what I'm not fine with is that now he goes in, he's doing all of the checking and everything. And, like, that's a lot of work. Fine, I get that. But there are decisions being made, bro, that, you know, I'm like, hey, wait a second. You know, what can I do from over here? I'm just preparing myself to deal with the backlash, and that's it. Consumer protection agencies being slashed, I'm not really, you know, that excited about that, right? You know, what are these agencies, right? And so the whole answer is we don't have time to wait for an okay from everybody to do things. I get that. I just know that there's going to be some backlash, and I just have to prepare myself for it. There's just
going to Congress with it after you find it, but I'm also totally fine with an outside person checking on all of these different organizations. I'm totally fine with that. Matter of fact, I think it should be an outside source. I think an inside source might be too biased. I think an inside source has these special interest groups in their ear. Like, for example, if we say we can't sit on this podcast right now and say that every senator, every congressman, every president, every whatever is in the pocket of big business, right? And then at the same time go, so let's let them make the decision which part of these organizations we cut and which we don't. If we're right now saying that they're all corrupt and that they're accepting these bribes from these different companies, why could we trust them to make the right decisions in the first place?
Elon Musk?
Well, it doesn't have to be Elon, but I do like the idea that there is a private person outside of government that's at least gaining the information. It doesn't have to be Elon. It could be, name another, John Denver. It doesn't fucking matter what it is. But a private person outside of government that is not beholden to any of these special interest groups, going in, accessing this information, calling out where they think the bloat is or the excess is, and then you could have Congress vote on it.
That's what Clinton did. Other than having somebody from the outside, he used his vice president, but they still cut 380,000 jobs. So it's not like they did not. And you know what else they did? They taxed the motherfucking wealthy. Like when we talk about the surplus that
so the whole taxing of the wealthy thing, I'm really not with it because, again, I don't have enough transparency to know what does this mean about taxing the wealthy, because I'm already hearing that the wealthy pay a lot of taxes anyway. Bill Maher won't shut up about it. He's like paying, which as he shouldn't shut up about it. Two things here to wrap this up. You know what? Let me see what he's saying about taxing the ultra wealthy.
Happened in America during that time. It wasn't just the fact that he was cutting all these jobs. They taxed the motherfucking richest among us. Elon, them ain't gonna do that.
Why do we act like we don't get taxed? That's another thing that's crazy. Like
the wealthiest of people in America don't.
Okay, but
we do.
That's the thing. but people think we're the wealthy.
Oh no, we get taxed.
But that's the thing. So and that's why there's a lot of times pushback for people like around. I don't even want to put me in your demographic, but when people make a certain amount of money, you're getting taxed over 50% when you add state tax in, right?
Exactly. And so that's the point. Like, not to make this go any too long or whatever. There's 2 points to be made here. Let's go back first to the whole thing about Elon. Here's another big thing that I keep forgetting. How much hundreds of millions of dollars did Elon give Trump for his, to his campaign? How much did he donate? And then now he has carte blanche. Did we forget? So did he buy his way into this? That's what I mean. So, like, why are you there? You're not doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You know the value of being there to do whatever you want to do to get your businesses under control, because from what I'm hearing, he's slashing off things that of certain agencies that were kind of investigating him, right? And okay, so how many hundreds of billions of dollars? That's priceless to go in and just be like, yo, you know what? Cut it all. Who wouldn't do it?